Okay, so on the bench, because I have a ton of repairs to do after a very busy season, is my modified 1/10 scale truck that I refer to as the Beast. And you can see that one of my rod ends actually snapped while I was out filming a mud video, actually. And it wasn't in the video per se that I broke it. Actually, what had happened was I had pushed the throttle off camera. The truck actually kind of did a nosedive, and when it did that, it tweaked the axle and it snapped. But I was out in the middle of the woods and I was doing the film, and so I actually did the entire film with this link broken. But when it was broken, every time I torqued on the axle itself, it would just come undone. But, you know, with perseverance and a little bit of dedication to making a good video, we were able to limp the truck through and put on a pretty good show. Now, this truck I've actually had for a very, very, very long time. It is one of the original scale vehicles that I've used, and I've just rebuilt it over and over and over again. And you know what? I think at the end of this video, we'll have a little look back at what the Beast has done over the years. But as it sits right now, you can actually see that I have, this is the only vehicle that I have the LED light here at the top, right there, the LED light, even wired into the battery power. Normally I have a separate battery that runs all my lights because I don't like taking away from my run time. Let me put this down here, there we go. In the actual case itself, see, I can actually undo the motors on either side. So the ESC is completely on its own. If I needed to remove it, I could just quickly unplug the motors. Battery, I keep in a battery case. For trailing with this kind of vehicle, because I do a lot of off-roading, I do use a hard case. Hard case is just a lot better than the soft alternative, and because they don't get holes through them. Of course, if lipo has any kind of air hit the inside cells, it becomes very problematic. Fire, smoke, some of them actually explode. So you got to be very careful. So when I'm trailing or using any kind of lipo, really, unless it's seriously protected, hard case all the way. For those that want to know, this is a 3-cell LiPo battery. I use it to actually power, if you guys have followed the show, that's a Dake RX-8 Gen 2. Now, the RX-8 is actually a 1/8 scale ESC for, you know, racing vehicles, really, off-road. But the reason I use this big fella here is so I can power the 2 Dake motors that I have. Let me just undo this quickly. So you can see I popped the ESC out just that quick. The only thing that's attached is that light. And I do that by using different types of plugs and keeping everything removable. Check this out. This is how extreme I was going in using my receiver. I undid the case and I put the I just Plastadipped all the connections on the back. It has worn off over time, but still isn't really problematic. Okay, so for those that follow, you already know that I use dual brushed motors here, and they run on this metal spur gear. Inside the transmission, this is an aluminum housing from Vanquish. Vanquish Products made an aluminum housing for the transmission, and in the transmission itself, I've made it all steel. So brushed motor, 35 turn, hand wound motors, lots of torque. What pinion am I running here? Just have a quick look. 22 on top and 22 on the bottom. This is the pinion gear here and here, and of course the spur gear. And so I have my slipper clutch very tight, and the reason is because this is a lot of torque that's running through here, and because I have a steel transmission that go out to steel drive lines, right? Here's my drive shaft, goes on into the inside. Now I haven't made anything in here super strong, but really the axles themselves are strong. Here is the back truss that I use for my suspension link setup. And these tires are air-filled. These are G-made rims with these Traxxas Sledgehammer 2.2 tire. I love the studs on these. And so what I've done is I've just sealed them up, and I can actually use, and there is a plug right there that I can stick a pin of my air pump into and just inflate them to what I want. Because then I don't have to worry about wet foams, like if I'm going through the water. Plus I have a lot of conformity over the rocks and the terrain that I'm traveling. These links on the bottom, I've actually added in these rod ends that are actually quite long, so it made the wheelbase of my vehicle quite long at the end, and so when I'm climbing hills, for example, I've got a lot more angle that I can go to before it flips backward, right? So that's a little bit of a bonus. The only problem is finding bodies that will actually allow you to have your wheelbase longer, but if you look and you keep searching, you can find something. All this here is a splash guard that I made out of Gorilla Tape, which is kind of like a duct tape, but super strong. The body posts here and here, or I've also put a body post on the side, so if I just want to use something like this and mount it from the side, I can just use the side hole posts. Now I've got to go through and fix the rod end. That's not a big deal. I'm just going to twist off the end, put on a new one, and put it in right behind the shock in that area, right? That's going to be easy for me to do, and I won't make you guys watch that, but I figured we could have a little look back on the beast, see what it's done, where it's come from. Maybe some of you guys remember. Maybe you guys have followed along from the beginning, but I also know some folks are new here and they don't know the history behind this truck. Enjoy.
Now, we're going to be focusing on the 1/10 scale trail truck called the Axial SCX-10 Honcho. Now, this is a 4x4 machine, one of the most popular trail RCs on the market today.
Ain't she a beauty?
Hey guys, what's up? It's Medic out here with Miss Medic, filming you guys another scale video out in the Canada winter. I can tell you it's not too bad today, but everywhere is snow and ice, and these rubber tires are rock solid. So you see us slipping around today, no other reason than being cold. Check out these shocks. You can see any type of shocks you use. Look at that, they're frozen. It's so cold. That shock oil is stiff, stiff, stiff. So it's a little bit challenging to do a winter trailing video for you guys. Figured we'd do a couple today, get some enjoyment out of it, because we gotta go indoors. I remember this. It was many, many years ago, and there's many videos with this body. And now we have the altered beast.
Well, the snow is definitely deep, but check it out. Gotta get the battery out. Oh, so cold.
These here are upgraded as well. I went in and upgraded to RC four-wheel drive Punisher shafts.